Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and today we're going to be talking about Lord Cypher. And of course, as most people know and love him, Lord Cypher is a mystery to all, an absolute badass, friend or foe to the Imperium, as many don't know, as it is part of his character. But he is absolutely one of the Imperium's most wanted criminals, and one of the most wanted fallen. But did you know that the actual title of Lord Cypher is one that is passed on, and it is not necessarily a name? Also, it predates the actual founding of the Dark Angels chapter itself. You see, the history of Lord Cypher actually predates going all the way back to the actual Order of Caliban. The rule of a cipher was very similar to that of a librarian. You see, a Lord Cypher is responsible for maintaining the archives and texts, much of the history and culture of the Order. They would ensure that many of the proud traditions that made up the Order and Caliban were maintained and followed. The mystery of who the Lord Cypher is actually one of tradition itself. The masters and or greatest lords of the Order would go ahead and secretly select a single individual to become the next Lord Cypher. And upon accepting the title, that certain individual would renounce their name, their past, and their history, only looking to maintain and ensure the benefit of the traditions of Caliban being maintained. Their very being was to ensure the laws, the customs, and the discipline of the Order, ensuring that any recruits or any individuals that would stray too far from the culture of the Order were quickly disciplined and put back in line. This rank and tradition would continue to be in place and implemented even after Lionel Johnson would join the Emperor and the Imperium. This highly esteemed rank was held by, as we know it, three individuals. The first Lord Cypher, which passed away not long after the lion was discovered by the Emperor. The second Lord Cypher, who was one of Luther's advisors during the second stage of his rebellion. And lastly, Zaharia would take the place of third Lord Cypher after slaying and replacing the second. Whether or not the current Lord Cypher that we know of in the 40th millennium is Zaharia is still up to be determined. Nobody knows who this individual's dark secret is. The only thing that we do know is that he is the number one most wanted of the Dark Angels, and he has eluded capture for nearly 10,000 standard Terran years. The only consistency with Lord Cypher is that wherever he appears, death or destruction is soon to follow. Regardless of whatever kind of imprint that he leaves upon the planet where his appearance was made known, nobody ever will know where he turns up next. He is so elusive that he has also appeared on the actual rock itself, the floating fortress of the Dark Angels. Of course, the Dark Angels would go scrambling trying to look for him, but they would find nothing. The only thing that they would find would be the Sword of Secrets and the Lion Helm. Time and time again, Lord Cypher would continue to elude the individuals of the Imperium. And whether he is truly friend or foe is yet to be determined. He has wanted to speak with the Emperor himself. He has carried artifacts and returned them to the Dark Angels. He has assisted the loyalists of the Imperium. But despite all this, his appearance always leads to chaos and destruction for the Imperium. Whether it is all coordinated and part of his plan, or just unhappy coincidences, nevertheless, it is one of the reasons why the Dark Angels deem him the number one most wanted on their list out of the Fallen. Lord Cypher is one of the many shameful secrets that the Dark Angels hold, and fear that if it was ever to be released, they could be marked for traitors. I could go into more details about Lord Cypher, but I think I would have to do a second video instead. But let me know what you think. Do you think he's traitor or loyalist? And drop a comment if there's anything else that you want to hear next, and follow for more.